Good morning and welcome to Good Shepherd. My name is Brent Owens and this is 3 Minute Theology. I'm really glad that you've joined us today. If you'd like to reach out to me for any reason, my email address is fatherbrentoWens@gmail.com. Our topic for 3 Minute Theology today is the idea of overflowing with thankfulness. Now, I know that that might be a difficult concept, especially in this time of pandemic and with everything going on now. But this is a phrase that comes to us from Paul's letter to the Colossians, and it really means something other than just simply being happy. Paul writes to us out of chapter 2, verse 7, and says, "Let your roots grow down into Christ, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness." I think what Paul is talking about here is the idea that when we are rooted in Christ, we are then built up in our faith because we draw on that spiritual energy and strength of Christ. And when that happens, a natural outflowing is going to be that we are overflowing with thankfulness. Paul is not suggesting any specific behaviors here, but more of an awareness within ourselves of the Christ that is in us. It's more of a way of being as a Christian, or an ethos, perhaps. Well, I ran into this very idea earlier this week. As many of you know, Melinda and I are in the process of moving from Lexington, Kentucky to Jacksonville to join you all at Good Shepherd. And part of that move is I have an old antique car by the name of Lady Gray that I needed to have shipped down, so I hired a trucking company to do that. Well, earlier this week, the truck driver arrived in front of my house, and we started loading the car, and we talked, of course, about cars. But as we continued our work, I asked him if he had any children, and he was very, very proud because his son, Franco, had just been born 4 months ago. Mom and baby were doing great, and he was very, very proud. He did share with me, though, that he lamented that his father, after whom the child is named, Franco, is in Venezuela, where he is from, and can't come to the United States to visit and see the baby because of COVID. He also shared with me that he was so very, very thankful to the United States because he is here as a result of political asylum. He shared with me that he would surely be killed if he went back to Venezuela, to his home. One of the other things of thankfulness that he was really overflowing about was his work as a truck driver. He was extraordinarily thankful for the work that he had to do. And you could tell he took a lot of pride in it and he enjoyed his work. He shared with me, though, that several times that he just didn't know what he would do if he didn't have his job, because he was the sole supporter of not only his family, but his sister-in-law's family, who had all lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic. So he was overflowing with thankfulness for the work that was really his God-given talent as a truck driver. I think all of this really flowed out of a deep sense of his connection with Christ and God, because it was clear to me that he was a Christian. He is grateful, he was thankful for being in the United States, for his family and his son, and for the ability to provide for all the people who depended on him. So in this time that is difficult, and it's easy to focus on the difficulties of the world today, you're rooted in Christ, and you're built up through Christ. How are you overflowing with thankfulness as a result? Well, as the truck driver got into the cab, I offered him this blessing. Vea con Dios, mi amigo. Go with God, my friend. And by the way, his name is Jesus. And so I offer you this same blessing. Vea con Dios, mi amigo. Go with God, my friend.